Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 23 is officially here, and the chapter starts off with Mitsuki defeating the claw grimes that are surrounding him. And then Mitsuki and Konohamaru meet up, and Mitsuki tells Konohamaru that Arya went with Shinki's thorn bulb to bring him back, and he's running towards where Shinki is and stuff like that. And then Konohamaru tells Mitsuki that the mission isn't over yet, and Mitsuki's kind of like, I want to go help Boruto, and Konohamaru says no, because Boruto's distracting Jura. If we get in his way, we might mess everything up. What we have to do is do a Boruto plan to go to the original meeting site where they first met the Sand Shinobi. That's where they're going to go, and he's going to trust Boruto for now. That's all that they really can do. So, then we cut over to Boruto versus Jura. And Boruto is injured from the attack that Jura did on him before he broke out using Uzuhiko. So he had this like a little stab on him. Nothing fatal, but it is deep and it's not a good look for him. So Jura starts attacking Boruto with Biju bombs, and Boruto is dodging left and right, and Jura starts wondering that, alright, what's it gonna take to kill you? Is it up close blasts or long distance sniping? You know what I mean? Let's figure it out. And he starts attacking Boruto more with a barrage of Biju bombs, just blasting him, shooting him, and Boruto is dodging him up and down, left and right. And Boruto throws a kunai straight at Jura, and he uses Flying Raijin to teleport behind him, and then he tries to attack him, slice him with his sword, and Jura knocks the sword out of his hand below him, and then Boruto teleports straight to the sword, and then cuts off Jura's leg. He cuts it off right there. He cuts off his left leg, like his foot area. And Jura's kind of impressed. He's like, you're not even an ouch. He's just like, I'm impressed. And so he continues to fight Boruto with his hands like throwing punches at him and whatnot. And Boruto's kind of realizing that he's outmatched in terms of strength. Then Jura grabs Boruto's arm and is preparing a Biju bomb to blast him with. And Boruto uses using a lightning style hand sign. I think it's the Ox. And he uses purple lightning and shocks Jura. And they're both, you know what I mean, shocking. And so Boruto gets away from Jura, but he's wounded and he's kind of getting a bit winded. He's huffing and puffing. He's like, And Jura starts realizing this and goes like, you're looking a little sluggish, Boruto. I think it might be a little bit better if I defeat you, by pummeling you and hitting you with my fists than trying to kill you with one of my Biju bombs. So that's what I'm going to do. We cut over to Konohamaru and Mitsuki, and Mitsuki's carrying Sarada, carrying her and moving her around, and they make it to the starting point. And then we cut to Jura beating on Boruto. Jura hits Boruto with a knee to the face and then starts punching him in the gut. And then Boruto falls to the ground. And Jura starts preparing a Biju bomb and blasts it at Boruto. Boruto manages to fly away and dodge it, but then Jura attacks Boruto some more, and Boruto tries to hit him with his sword back, but he gets chipped by Jura. So Sasuke's sword, the one that Boruto's using, gets a little chip on it from trying to hit Jura, and it doesn't, it's just kind of like a little piece of it's chipped. So then Jura kicks Boruto with his right leg, the one that didn't get cut off, and he knocks Boruto out onto the ground, and that's where he's lying right now. And Ada's watching all of this, and she's like, I can't look any longer. If this goes on any longer, Boruto's gonna die. And then she's kind of talking to Kashin Koji. She's like, are you hearing me? Are you not gonna say anything? And Kashin Koji's like, shut up. I'm getting something here. I'm getting an update. And his eyes roll back into his head, and he's like, whoa, what's going on? He's getting the update, and Kashin Koji starts looking at alternate futures and possibilities. His Shinjutsu is working right now, so he's starting to get pre-shins going. And Kashin Koji sees, I think it's Inojin, he sees Jura, he sees Himawari, and Jura is kind of covering his right eye, like he's injured or maybe seeing something or doing something, I don't know. He's just kind of covering the eye. And Kashin Koji is like, no way! In a surprise kind of a way, like he didn't expect something to happen. And Ada's curious, and she asks him like, what are you seeing? What's going on? And so we cut over to Jura finishing off Boruto, or trying to like finish him off. And he's looking at Boruto, he's like, man, still breathing, huh? And you're holding your sword even when you're unconscious. Won't let that go. And so he's like, you're a tough one, but because of your resilience, Boruto Otsutsuki, I'm gonna make it quick for you. He flies up into the air and he prepares a Biju bomb and he's getting ready to kill Boruto in one shot. He's like, I'm gonna do it in one shot, make it easy and painless for you. It's gonna be great. He charges it up, he's up there in the sky, and then a stab right through his head, through his eye. And it's none other than Kawaki. Kawaki arrives and he puts a rod right through Jura's eye, right through his head, and stands on Jura's back. So this is kind of like Boruto's moment when he showed up on the village standing on Code's face. Well, Kawaki's standing on Jura's back and just stabbed him in the eye. So that's crazy. And Jura looks behind him with like his other eye and he's like, Kawaki. And Kawaki's like, damn, this wasn't enough to kill you? You're a real monster here. You know, he's surprised that wasn't enough to kill him. I mean, a stab through the head kills anybody, but not him. And so Ada's like, Kawaki? Kawaki's here? And then Ada's like, Kashin Koji, what's going on? Help me understand this. And Kashin Koji gets more updates from his prescience. And he's getting new prescience visions for the first time in 6 days. So I was under the assumption that his Shinjutsu kind of worked all the time like Ada's Senrigan. Like, the ability isn't constant like hers, where she can look through the Senrigan, I guess, all the time, or in the past, as long as and as far as she kind of wants. Like, she's able to look into the past and see everything when she uses her Senrigan. But she doesn't have to wait days to, like, rewatch it again. She can go straight to it. Whereas with this ability, it takes time. And that never occurred to me that it would take time for him to, like, get new updates and stuff like that. I thought it was just, like, he was seeing multiple visions right then and there. So anyways, he's waiting for the ability and he just got new updates. And he sees Jura, he sees Sarada, he sees Hidari, and he sees Mamushi in his prescience visions. So then Kashin Koji's like, dang it, this is crazy. Kawaki's involvement in this fight was something I never saw as a possibility. And he's like, Boruto did something. He's like, Boruto said something to Kawaki that changed these circumstances, that led us to where we are now, that allowed him to step in and help. And so we cut over to Mitsuki and Konohamaru waiting in the spot where they first met the Sand Shinobi. And Mitsuki's curious. He's like, why did he choose here? Does Boruto have one of those metal shapes that he can teleport to? And Konohamaru is like, oh, so that way he can teleport to us, or like help us out, or do what we need to do. And just then and there, Delta arrives, and she's kind of just there to, I guess, help them out. She's like their, I don't know, she's gonna be there to help them out or whatever, as backup, I guess. I don't know what her real objective is or whatever. So then we finally cut to Kawaki versus Jura, and we see Jura start attacking Kawaki. He, like, tries to get him off of his back, and Kawaki dodges it, and then he starts throwing rods, or, like, hitting Jura with all the rods that he's, like, you know what I mean? It's, like, kind of like how Jigen did it, where it just, like, appears or, like, shoots at them. Yeah, he hits him with it, and Jura blocks it, but they still, like, pass through him or through his body, so he's not really defending himself, more so as the, like, it's just piercing right through him. But then he starts to build up a Biju bomb and shoots it at Kawaki, but he dodges it, and it blows up, and then Boruto wakes up, and he's like, oh my goodness, I'm up. And Kawaki's like, hey, you better wake up, stupid bro. He's like, you gotta get up, otherwise, you know what I mean, you're gonna die or whatever. And Boruto says, yeah, shut up, you're the one who's late. You know what I mean, you were supposed to be here earlier. I like that banter between them, that, you know, that brother banter between them. I like that. And so Jura's now like, Kawaki? He was just a little weakling, like, however long ago, a few days ago. You know what I mean? He's conflicted. He's like, how did he get so strong? I can sense that he's stronger than before, but how? You know? And so Kawaki activates his karma, and he tells Boruto, like, hey, you better hold it together, because if you start to go wild or you lose control here, I'm gonna kill you too. And Boruto is looking at his right arm. It's not activated yet, or it hasn't started, like, the karma pattern hasn't started going up his arm. And so he's like, don't worry about me, Kawaki. Just do it. Kawaki activates his karma now with full power. You know what I mean? now that Amado has unlocked his ability and his potential, his full destructive capabilities are stronger now. And we see Jura charge straight after Kawaki, and Kawaki goes, "Let's go!" And that's where the chapter ends. And oh my goodness, what a crazy chapter. I mean, I knew Kawaki was going to come in, but I didn't know he was going to stab Jura straight through the head. We also learned a little bit about Kashin Koji's prescience. It isn't automatic or it's not a constant ability he can just use or see. It's something that takes time for the updates to come through. Most likely during like really important moments. So, for instance, Sarada coming to Boruto's defense against Kawaki and Boruto Naruto Next Generations, when she stood in between Kawaki and Boruto, that was a moment. And Kashin Koji would have gotten an update in that moment where she decided to step in. And in that update, would have seen Boruto dying, or Boruto and Sarada dying, or just Sarada dying, or just Boruto. You know what I mean? It would have seen multiple possibilities of that moment. Or maybe both of them surviving and the events played out like they do. Whatever. Stuff like that. So Kawaki's showing up there, Boruto intervening or kind of telling Kawaki that he needs to get upgraded, all led to this moment and was outside of the possibility that his Shinjutsu could see. So there is a bit of unexpectedness there. And I feel like we're right on the train. It's chugging all the way through right now. We're in the heat of it. So the story's got great momentum right now. And then the action was really great this chapter. Boruto was getting pushed back. He was getting kneed in the face. He was unleashing purple lightning. He was using flying Raijin. He cut off his leg. All kinds of crazy stuff like that. And then Kawaki has like an outfit change. He goes back to his old clothes, which is like battle ready, like Kawaki's back. And then he stabbed Jura in the eye and stuff like that. Crazy stuff. And so then I think the only character that we really see get any development in this chapter was, well, obviously we see Kawaki now on par to fight the Shinju, but we also see Kashin Koji's Shinjutsu and prescience at work and how he gets updates. So it took him about a week to get a new update, and that was only when Kawaki showed up, when something really big changed or happened. So who knows what's going on. And we also saw that Himawari is going to get involved. The other Shinju are going to get involved. I think Team 10 is going to get involved. If that's Inojin I saw. Don't know. Let's see, what else? In terms of like the world, or like what happens in the world, or the world building of this, Kashin Koji's prescience, his Shinjutsu, understanding how it works and being able to tell the future or the possibilities or the different ways things could go is really important. And so I feel like we got just a cool little glimpse at it, and that's important for the world to understand like what's going to happen next and how things may or may not happen, you know. So I think that's really important. And then the ending was super hype. Seeing Kawaki show up and now activating his karma, we're going to be able to see what he's fully capable of and all of his strength and abilities now. So it's gonna be really cool. It's looking really cool to see, and we're gonna see how Jura responds, and also we're gonna see Konohamaru and Mitsuki and Delta deal with their situation and whatnot. So it's gonna be really cool. Let me think. Outside of that, I think that now it's set up to where Kawaki will take on Jura, and Boruto will have time to either teleport to Konohamaru and Mitsuki and get them back to the village, or Delta might be able to do something, you know, technology-wise maybe, you know. Maybe she has some sort of a teleporting ability that she can get the rest of them somewhere else safely. I don't know. But yeah, this was a great chapter. I think that everything kind of is stacking up right now. Everything is coming together. And so Kawaki's entrance was really cool. A great mirror of Boruto's entrance. So overall, I think I give this chapter a 9.1 out of 10. I thought that it was really, really good. I think that the action was great. I think that the story is moving along nicely. I like seeing character getting pushed back and then somebody else comes in and helps them out. That's a really cool moment. I like the banter between Boruto and Kawaki. I thought that was nice. Shows them that they're like bickering as brothers, I guess. And seeing Konohamaru kind of like, trust Boruto so that way he can like follow his plan or whatnot. Obviously Delta showing up and possibilities of Kashin Koji's prescience with Himawari and the others. So it's looking like we're getting the ball rolling. And the cool thing about right now is that we have all of these different theories or different directions the story can go in. So I'm really excited to see what happens next. Chapter 23, 9.1. Let me know what you guys think. Did you like the chapter? What do you think is going to happen next? But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Yeah.